Now, the third type of casting is die casting. It is a simple process to understand. Basically, it just involves forcing molten metal under high pressure into the mold cavity. In the other two processes that we learned earlier, sand casting and investment casting, we simply poured the molten metal into the mold and gravity did all the work. There was no force required. In die casting, gravity alone is not enough and we must rely on external pressure. Now, you may ask, why is die casting called die casting? Well, it is called die casting because the molds used in this process are metallic and they are called dies. Keep in mind that this is a very expensive process because of two reasons. First, the dies used in the process as molds are very expensive to make. Secondly, the process is very energy intensive because of all the high pressures and temperatures required in the process. Let's go through the process briefly. As you can see here, this is the setup of a typical die casting process. This is the reservoir that stores the molten metal. The mold is divided into two parts, movable die and fixed die. The inner cavity of the dies is connected to the reservoir via the nozzle. In the first step, the plunger pushes onto the molten metal. As the molten metal has nowhere to go but to the mold cavity, it starts filling up the mold cavity. When the mold cavity is entirely filled up with molten metal with pressure, the plunger cannot push down any further and it stops. In the next step, although it is not shown in this diagram, what happens is the inner cavity of the mold is cooled with cooling process. Once cooled, it solidifies and assumes the shape of the cavity. In the last stage, the movable die moves away from the fixed die, taking the finished product with it, and that's how the die casting works. Now, let's watch a video demonstration from China Savvy. For this video, I was able to get an approval from China Savvy to show the video within the course so that you don't have to go to YouTube.